What should a true friend really be?
We're always advised to stay away from people with X qualities. Maybe we could hash out what that means and what that looks like. You said something earlier that was really interesting, Sayyid Mohsen. A true friend can be identified through the values that we share. Is that the case though? You think about someone like Talha and Zubair.
Oh, you have to go there. What about friends of a different gender?
The only thing drawing you closer, I would say, is desires. Have you looked at your boy and he said, "Man, you look very beautiful today"?
Nah.
I don't think that's...
They say it to me.
I must have met him maybe a couple times. After that first few times, we bonded over our love for Ahlulbayt.
Hello.
Wow.
What about non-Muslim friends?
If they're the closest to us in mawadda, why can't we be friends with them?
For you who believe, take not the Jews and the Christians as friends,
Habibi,
helper,
pause.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah wa barakatuh, and welcome to the Shia Vibes podcast, the podcast that discusses different themes, topics and subjects around the Shia community. This episode, we are going to look at friendship and friends. Here in the West, there's a famous saying, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Inshallah, tonight our guest will be discussing friends, what our Ahlulbayt have discussed about friendships and what sort of friends we should have. And in today's modern day and age, what sort of friends we should be influenced by and how we should be influencing our friends, introducing them to the Ahlulbayt. On this episode, let us welcome our guest all the way from the holy lands of Najaf, originally from Dearborn, Michigan. It is Sayyid Muhammad Hassan. Let's have a go at the surname. Al-Shara.
Al-Shara, yeah.
Al-Shara. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Shia Vibes podcast.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you so much for having me. It's my honor. I've been a long-time viewer and now I am an attendee as well amongst your esteemed self and Brother Ali here as well. So it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. And yes, we're welcoming for the first time on the Shia Vibes podcast, the familiar face on Imam Hussein TV, Mr. Ali Hassan Jigani. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Kem cho? Sarut che? Mazama che? Barabar che?
Kem cho, all right cho.
Oh, nice. Say it nice.
Nice.
Classic. Very nice.
How you been?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well. It's a blessing and a pleasure
to
be here on this episode with our special guest and alongside yourself. To be honest, it's
fantastic.
It's been a long time, I'm a fan favorite of yours. So
is it? Yeah, Sayyid, if you don't know, Ali Jigani, mashallah, he talks a lot. But ever since his football team has been losing a lot of games back to back, he's very quiet for some reason.
Let's stay civil, inshallah ta'ala.
I don't even know what sport football is anymore. Like, I don't know what to watch, who to watch.
So, Sayyid, with your permission,
I
have a hadith here from Amir al-Mu'mineen. And it is, try to have as many as possible true friends, for they are the supplies in joy and the shelters in misfortunes. True friends. What does Amir al-Mu'mineen here mean by true friends? Or have you heard of this concept, true friends? And what should a true friend really be?
طبعا Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. There are very plentiful traditions that tell us about who to avoid. So you see hadith by Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen like advising Imam al-Hasan, Bunay, my son, stay away from the stingy, for they will sell you for even the kernel, let's say. Stay away from the fool. Stay away from the hypocrite. Stay away from... So they always advise you who to avoid and not affiliate and associate with. Then there are the narrations that tell us get near and get close to these type of people. And among them are, if you can maximize having true friends, maximize that. For they are, the rest of that was, forms of shelter in times of misfortune. They are sources of blessings and so forth.
And I think joy.
Beautiful. And I think that's just logic. And Ahlulbayt are the epitomes of logic and rationale. And so when they speak, it's like you can't but agree, and you don't even need to be a Shi'i to agree and acknowledge that I would love more true friends. Facebook maximizes your friend limit at 5,000. Instagram, go ahead to the millions. But then it's like, how many of those, when times get tough, would actually be there for you? That amount, those are your true friends. A true friend is someone that could honor your secrets. A true friend is someone that doesn't capitalize in your moments of vulnerability. And I believe this is what it means to be true in the words of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. So we're always advised to stay away from people with X qualities, but then there are people that are true maybe we can hash out what that means and what that looks like. But those are rare. Those are rare.
My closest friends that I have are the boys that I grew up with.
Yeah.
There's this thing about coming of age together. When you're young adolescents becoming responsible adults. And there's a lot of history, you know, and I know their parents, they know my parents and things like that. Mr. Jigani, is it similar?
To be honest, I'll say
How you grew
some of
up?
my closest friends would be those who I've obviously known for a longer period of time. But I think sometimes the friends that I pick up quickest will be those that have the same values as myself. And they become true friends quicker because you can understand that you have the same ideology, same upbringing, same akhlaq.
So can I ask you, is a true friend always the person that you have a history with, like you said, an experience, you grew up, you came of age together? Or can a true friend be something that doesn't necessarily involve historic timeline, years, ups and downs?
I agree in terms of the aspect of necessarily, it doesn't have to be a timeline.
Have you ever had a friend that was like that, but they've disappeared from your life?
Yes.
Like, haram, we grew up
loads.
together, man.
Yeah.
We had ups and downs. We had this and that. We made it through
Yeah,
thick and thin.
yeah.
You just vanish on me like that, man.
No, something happened, and we don't we're civil, but we've grown apart.
And then you meet that one guy, and it's as if you've known them forever,
Yeah,
100%.
and you click instantly.
I'll give you an example. There's actually a shabab from your community in Dearborn. You might know him, Abdullah. He's friends with Ali.
Yeah, I know
It's like-
Abdullah. Yeah, Abdullah's
Abdullah.
yeah. There's a
The gun.
yeah, there's only one Abdullah.
Yeah, exactly. So that
in
guy,
a community of half
I
a
must
million
have met
people.
him maybe a couple times. But after that first few times, the muhabba and ishq, we bonded over our love for Ahlulbayt.
Hello.
wow.
And once that friendship was made, I think anytime he can call upon me, I can call upon him. And when you see each other, it's like you haven't met maybe in a year, 2 years, but it's an instant bond. Why? Because the mentality, mindset is the same. So when that muhabba is there, from that love of Ahlulbayt, I think it's fruitioned really well.
Yeah, do you know what? Serving, especially when you meet people who serve and do khidmah, wherever you are in the world, there's like a community of khadims. that just-
100%.
you know what I mean? When you go, Sayyidina, you're a khadim, you
Inshallah.
lecture
Ya Allah.
everywhere, you
Inshallah,
teach in
yeah.
Najaf.
Inshallah.
When you go to, recite all over the world, I think recently you just come back from Australia.
Yeah, I was in Sydney.
What's it like? Meaning, there's a connection from one khadim to another. No?
Inshallah, yeah. I think you all can sympathize and agree with that. Khidmah brings people closer, and the kind of career I'm in relatively is one that involves meeting new people a lot, and so I do travel a lot. But that doesn't mean I make new friends. It just means I meet new good people and people that some I may stay in touch with. But a symptom of that also means that I do create lifelong buddies and family almost. And I thought I was finished. Like Dearborn, that's it. I've met everyone I needed, and I don't need to add more. Dearborn, if you inshallah honor us, is a community of about 500,000 Muslims. Three-fourths of them are Shia in one metro area, basically. Our mayor, to our police, to our judges, to our whatever, are all Shia. The police will pull me
Quite
over.
convenient.
Like, I never get pulled over. But
Okay.
let's just say if they pull me over, they'll be like, here's your ticket, Sayyidina, say salam to your dad. I'm like, there's no salam coming for you or anything like that.
They still give you the ticket. They don't let you
Yeah,
off.
I mean, but why'd you make the wrong turn at the wrong time, for example? But in this context, but this is theoretical. I don't break the law.
Yeah.
But in this, it shows you that you're immersed with other followers of Ahlulbayt. And I'm there and I'm thinking, I'm fine. But then when you go to a new community, say in Toronto, you go to London, Netherlands, you go to Sydney, it's like, I found other family members as well. I can add to the
wow.
list.
That's nice.
But that can only happen through the khidmah, right? So
I
when you
agree.
go ziyarah and you have a ziyarah buddy and you make
100%.
friends, it's like, where were you all my life?
You know, there's a very interesting thing that's happened. You probably know the boys. There's a group of shabab that I grew up with, and they're much older than me. And whenever everyone sees me, they think I'm their younger brother because they're like maybe in their late 30s. Some of them are married with kids and stuff. But my brotherhood with them grew from going ziyarah when I was about 12, 13. And now I'd say, I'm in my mid-20s, and I've been going ziyarah with them more than 10 years. And I could trust those guys. And every year we add new people to that group. And every year after that one trip, they know that they can trust everyone in that group. And they know everyone in that group would, no matter what, back them in everything. Because you've traveled together, number one. And obviously you see a lot of people's true qualities when they travel together. We just traveled right now
That's
to
true.
Canada.
That's very true.
Myself and Sayyid Mohsen. He saw a lot about me that he may not have known.
No, that's very true.
I
If
saw a lot
you
about him.
want to get to know someone's true colors, travel with them.
100%.
Travel, go on a plane ride with them. We were in Hajj and we took the quietest guy with us to be with us in the room because we needed to fill the rooms each.
Yeah.
And so we have 3 beds. And so we're like, me and a friend, like, who do we add? Who's the third guy that can be with us? Make sure they're quiet, whatever. So we had this guy. This guy has a huge issue with people that smoke. And so the room next door, these guys are all smoking. What I thought was the quietest guy in the whole group turned into like, have you seen the Incredible Hulk?
Oh, wow.
Angry, raging, screaming.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Turn that off. What are you doing?
I see.
I'm like, what just happened? You surprised me. It's like, now that I travel with you, you know, your true colors begin to show. And this is akin to a hadith. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen says, عند تقلب الأحوال تظهر حقائق الرجال. That in changes and times of turbulence, true colors of men begin to show. And and change and turbulence happens a lot when you travel. You're outside your comfort zones, you're sleep deprived. So let's see who you really are now. Is that going to emerge or not? And I think that's one filter to identify who can be a true friend or not.
Yeah.
You said something earlier that was really interesting, Sayyid Mohsen. You're like, and you did too. And this was a true friend can be identified through the values that we share. Bonding through Ahlulbayt. Is that the case though?
So this I can ask, what about non-Muslim friends?
No, hold on. Even if they have, so you have people that love Ahlulbayt,
Okay.
but they're not always your friends.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You think about someone like Talha and Zubair.
Oh, you have to go there.
These guys were in the house with Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam on the day of the ambush.
Yeah.
All the maqatil record that for us. All the narrations tell us that they were gathered. Sulaym was there. قال سليم قلت يا سلمان هل دخلوا ولم يكن استئذان. And like, who else was there? Talha and Zubair with Amir al-Mu'mineen. And so it was like lovers of Ahlul Bayt. Even Rasulullah says to him, do you love Ali ibn Abi Talib? He's like, of course, with my own life. He's like, really? You say that now? He's like, yeah, there's going to be a day. He's referring to the
Yeah, of course.
battle
Jamal.
of Jamal.
Yeah.
He's like, how on earth can that day ever happen with the love that I have?
Yeah.
So now it wake up call. It wakes me up. I'm like, wait a minute. That doesn't make me cast doubt on my friends that love Ahlul Bayt. In fact, I may need to look in the mirror too.
Of course.
Because I love Ahlul Bayt, but don't let me have the same masir as this guy who says I love Ali ibn Abi Talib. And then when times get tough and the going gets tough as well, I mean, he leaves Ahlul Bayt. So I think it's not about how you start, but it's about how you end as well. And I want myself first of all, and I want my friends, and I want my family to have what we call a husn al-aqibah, a good ending as well. And which also tells me that if there's someone I'm not close with, don't give up on him, because he can have a different ending than what he has now.
100%.
And that also tells me that the person I have now, don't just relinquish, your concern anymore. Stay true, stay grounding them, anchor them, practice what you preach, of course, but make sure you're there for them. They're good. How many of friends did we just mention earlier that you grew up with them, but then it's like, what happened, bro? Why would you just leave like that?
People change.
So people change.
Things happen. People change. People have their own challenges. People are not in the same space as they were before.
Yeah.
I've heard that quite often.
There's a lot of new excuses with the modern mindset. A lot of the time before, you could say that there was a struggle that maybe our parents and your parents had to go through. The new modern generation, the excuses are very easy to come up with.
Like what?
I was having a bad mental health day. Don't get me wrong, it's a valid excuse, but it's becoming more and more that you can use such excuses to get out of anything you want to get out of. And a lot of the time with friendships and such, people feel that, okay, I can't be asked with these boys, I can't be asked to link. They'll use that as a quick excuse, or they'll say, you know what, yeah, it couldn't even be that I've had a long day.
Yeah.
But I've heard so many of the times, bro, I've had this issue, I've had that issue. And you'll see that same person out later on and you're just like, okay, cool, say that's no worries at all.
Oh, well, I think that's up to someone's own volition if they want to, see someone or they want to go meet somebody or not. Sometimes, it happens in the Hausa as well. You have certain study buddies and stuff like that, people in your classes, and then you go your own different ways where some might go down this route, some change Maraja, want to do something else, some join a new cult and things like that, and then people get ostracized.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think it's a valid excuse. People are entitled to their own opinions
Of
and
course, 100%.
what they want to do, but I can see why people become disconnected or they get distant. It happens.
I think people need to give second chances though. Even if a friend turns sour on you, it really is like a knife, because you should know better. You're my buddy, and it's like betrayal. And so it's like, when you turn sour, I relinquish so much of my trust into you. And now you're gonna just leave like that. I'll never ever talk to you again. And then I slowly turn into that person, because if you were this way to me, then I'm gonna match your energy. And I think this is a common issue that is very prevalent, that when people see fitness, see dispute, they're not looking for ways to resolve it. They're just looking for reasons to make it more intense, because like my own bro would do that to me, and it can be sometimes over exaggerated. I think us as guys, we can mess around and sometimes push limits, but it's not done for malicious reasons.
What's you Americans say? You play too much.
Play too much.
That's the line they use.
You play too much. You cross boundaries. But it's just it's a culture thing. It's like a guy being a guy with his guys. A guy being a guy with his guys. But then some guys can't really take the heat too much. And that's just a matter of you being wise enough to understand, listen, this guy, go easy right here. He might feel ostracized if you pick on him too much. And I became a victim of stuff like that. When I remember growing up, I would either I would get picked on by friends that I looked up to and I loved. And it was just because, it doesn't appear to be the case that I'm bothered by it. And it's funny for everyone else. Okay, let's tolerate it. And then later on, I'm like, I canceled you in my mind. You'll never ever, I hate you.
But
it was just a joke though.
There's a couple like that in our groups, right? And there's one, he's quite young as well. He gets picked on. Everyone picks on him, but everyone makes fun of him and things like that. But he's because he's one of us.
Yeah.
It's because we have so much love for him.
It's a sense of belonging. In a
Yeah,
sense. Like, if you can take the mic with your boys, it's a lot of sense of belonging.
Like
I agree.
Guys express love through insult.
Of course, I agree. 100%.
I think women, and I'm flat out generalizing by the so don't get triggered. But I think women express love through their friends, among each other, through actual compliments. Oh, you look really good. You look really nice.
I thought it was the opposite.
I wait. What? I mean, have you looked at your boy and he said, "Man, you look very beautiful today"?
Nah,
I don't think that's.
They say it to me.
Hey man, it takes one to know one.
But no, I think no, we don't say it like that. We kind of take the mick out of each other.
Yeah.
But I think with females, it's like they say guys say bad things to their friends, but they don't mean it. Because they're joking, and then it's like women, they give compliments to their friends but they don't mean it.
No one means anything.
So
the thing is with some guys, there's two levels of guys. There's some guys who you can give and take. There's some guys they'll give so much, they'll take once, they'll be like, you never see that guy again. He's out. He's just
someone in the office. I'm not gonna mention names, but you know who you are. They talk a lot, but when you stick it on them, they're like,
How much should you like pour your heart out for your friends? Would you say it should be because they're there with you, they're like your backbone, the same way you do for like your own family, say your own wife, your own mother and father? Could you make them in that same level, or no?
Should I be honest with you? There's one story growing up my parents always told me, and it always was one of my favorite stories, is Imam Hussein and Habib Mazahir. And on that one day, Imam Hussein even wrote that letter specifically to call that one friend. So if you have a friend like that, and you have a friend who,
well,
of course, I'm not saying it's very, I don't think any of us are at that level, let's be frank, of anywhere near to look at our friendships in the same way. But if we mold some of our friendships, they bring us towards good things. Our friends are the ones that...
Let's analyze that friendship. How long did they know each other? I saw they grew up together from childhood.
Habib's a companion of Rasulullah.
Exactly.
So he's Imam Hussein's senior. He's a narrator of Hadith al-Ghadir. And he's well respected. He's memorized the Quran. He's a teacher. He's an alim. He's all these things. And Imam Hussein loves him. He says, from one Habib to his Habib. Come here. And so, that's a bond. That's
exactly
that story. I recently in Muharram I was on it that somebody held a kids majlis at their house, and they asked me, I want you to tell these kids, because some of the kids are struggling to find friends at school. And that's why when Momo said this topic, I was like, perfect topic, because I was just talking to some of the parents about this. So many of our younger shabab, they necessarily have made a lot of friends from the community, which is a really good thing. There was a generation gap where some of the 30s, mid 40s had gone away from coming to Husseiniya regularly now, but their kids have made friends at school or Bria Husseiniya from madrasa and stuff. So they want to actively take part in friendships, playing sports and whatever, with kids from the community. So they've made those friends, but they don't have to maintain those friendships. So what builds those maintenance and what builds that friendship? So I use this example. Imam Hussein grew up with someone like Habib, and on his day of need, Habib came for him. And that's a true friend. That's you were saying about true friendship. That's a true friend.
Yeah.
That comes in your time of need. And then you got other friends who, for example, Muslim al-Osija, who even said to Habib on that day, Don't leave Imam Hussein till his final. When he was on his final, he was literally lying there, passing away, and he says, I want to speak to Habib. Imam Hussein's like, why do you want to speak to Habib? And only he tells him, don't leave my Hussein. So if your ishq is for Imam Hussein, Ahlulbayt, and your bond is built on that, a lot of the times, even this, like you were saying, certain boys that will leave you and stuff, those are the boys that I think would be less likely to leave you.
But the other thing as well, saying that, and also Mr. Jigani, do you have that friend where you don't speak for months, maybe years, but as soon as you call them or you meet 100%. Up, it's like you saw them yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, and I've got plenty of friends like that, you know, and it's beautiful that it's like you're doing your thing or whatever, because sometimes they live in other parts of the world, you know, other parts of the country. But as soon as you meet up, it's like a rush of memories and good times and you know, bonding returns. And you set off straight away. It's not even awkward. It's not even, oh, hello. It's like, hey, where you been? And you know,
exactly.
I got so much to tell you. And then, you know, you catch up and everything like that.
Yeah, that's just, I think, a symptom of life. Yeah, we go our separate ways, doing our own things and rooting for each other at the same time. Yeah. But that's just the life, you know. You're busy and occupied with your own commitments, and I guess so you know, so would I be. And then it doesn't mean that we know there's any illicitness or anything to that effect or nefariousness. It's just a symptom of life, you know. Life took us each directions of our own. And then when we catch up and meet up again, it's just like we were hanging out yesterday. And so that's a very beautiful relationship that we should all aspire to have more in our lives. There are those that, when they're out of your picture, even if you run into them again, it's like, sorry, who are you? Like, what's your name again? That also exists as well. And I would add that friends are very influential, and they're more influential than family, because people, what is peer pressure? It's the need to feel belonged. Yeah. It's the need to feel among the majority, accepted, welcomed. Yeah. And I think it goes down to the core of human beings and just tribalism and mentality of basic anthropology, humans, just how humans operate. They're social creatures, and they like to be together. The worst crime you can give a criminal in jail is solitary confinement. Why? We're gonna strip you from the ability to have even humans who are criminals. Yeah, people you shouldn't even like, but we're gonna make you
isolated from them
because it's just nature to want to have company and be social, and that aims at a very unique thing. That's people that struggle with loneliness. It really is a daunting, burning, painful experience, because it's like, they're kind of living solitary confinement in their day, and not having any friends can do that to you. And I think when someone finds himself, sometimes you might find yourself needing to do that voluntarily, because it's not worth having these people as friends. Okay. We have people that we need to get closer to with shared values. We share no values here. In fact, counter Islamic values. And you can even claim Islam, and you can even claim even Tashayyuh. But what you stand for is against anything the Quran and Ahlulbayt would ever want. And so it's like, is it better to not have friends, live a life of solitary confinement, contrary to what even the nature of humans wants, to be social and whatever, than it is to actually have a friend that's toxic? I think it's better to not even get close to poison. And it's better to just have Allah as your friend. Dua Joshan, Ya ni'mal sadiq, Ya ni'mal rafiq, Ya ni'mal jalis, Ya khayr jalisin. It's akin to, Ya Allah, if I have no one, you're the only one I need to sit with. If I have no one to claim as a friend, it's odd to call Allah as a friend, but Allah is closer to me than my own friends will ever be. So what do you even want to call them? And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can fill in that role. Alhamdulillah, we're blessed to have Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman in our lives. We're blessed to have other Shia lovers of Ahlulbayt in our lives. So a Shia lover of Ahlulbayt shouldn't feel ever lonely.
So the question goes back to, I asked earlier, about non-Muslim friends. Because we live in a Western world, let's be frank. And a lot of the listeners and viewers will be living in a Western world. Your workmates, these guys, obviously they're sometimes colleagues you don't even see after work and such. But it's even interacting with them, naturally, where does that come into play? And do you maintain that friendship? Is it worth it? What's the Islamic
in the world of in the school of non-Shia, they believe that you are not allowed to have non-Muslim friends except if you're inviting them to Islam.
Oh wow!
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. That's legit. That's legit.
That's a fatwa by Uthman al-Khamis.
Wow.
Mufti.
Very interesting.
So he's straight up was like, listen, you cannot befriend non-Muslims unless you want to bring them to da'wah through that process. And if they said no, khalas, cancel it. Operate with them to the limits of what you need to do necessary. Use them, but friends, la. I think to that point, the Quran is the metric here. The Quran said very clearly, لِتَجِدَنَّ أَقْرَبَهُمْ مَوَدَّةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّا نَصَارَى ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ مِنْهُمْ قِسِّيسِينَ وَرُهْبَانًا وَأَنَّهُمْ لَا يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. You will find the closest among you are in mawaddah, and that's a big thing to call those closest among you. In what? In love. قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. So using the same wording of loving Ahlulbayt, that intense love, with now a group that is the most close to us in that same degree of love, mawaddah, which is deeper than hub, deeper than ishq, mawaddah. لِتَجِدَنَّ أَقْرَبَهُمْ مَوَدَّةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّا نَصَارَى. Those who say we're Christians. You remember you saw the Pope visit Sistani?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And why was that such an impressive moment? It was because it showed us why. لأن منهم قسيسين, because there are monks among them, ورهبان, and priests, وأنهم لا يستكبرون, and they're not arrogant. Now, does that mean categorically all of them? Nope. But among them, there are some of those who genuinely love Christ, love a Sayyidah Maryam, who see us as, listen, you're a book of Ahl al-Kitab, and I am as that as well. Allah says, it's not me, it's Allah saying, they're the closest to you in love. Like, if they're the closest to us in mawaddah, why can't we be friends with them?
Exactly, yeah.
Because they'll hit you with an ayah. It's the ayah of 551, because 555,
Is Amir al-Mu'mineen.
Amir al-Mu'mineen,
In the ruku'.
in the state of ruku'. It goes, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء بعضهم أولياء بعض ومن يتولهم منكم فإنه منهم إن الله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. O you who believe, do not take the Jews and Christians as awliya, friends. But awliya doesn't mean friend. But they'll translate, if you read an English Quran right now, it'll say friends. That's the tragedy. Try it, go ahead. That's the tragedy. It'll say friends, it'll say allies, it'll say something that involves some form of companionship. Oh, you who believe, don't take the Jews and Christians as friends or allies. Why? Because if you take any of them as friends or allies, then you're going to be considered among them. God won't guide the misguided group of people. What did you get? 555? 51? Sorry.
Oh, you who, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, oh, you who believe, take not the Jews and the Christians as awliya, open bracket, friends, comma, protectors, comma,
Habibi,
helper.
Pause. Don't take them as friends. When I had another verse that just told me the closest to you in love are those who, in the deep love that we said, mawaddah, are those who say, we are Christians, inna nasara. Dhalika, why? Because among them are priests, monks, and they're not arrogant. So they're the closest in love, but don't be friends with them. That's a contradiction.
Yeah.
Does the Quran contradict itself?
Never. So this is the thing.
So then there's a translation
is the issue.
error.
Yeah, exactly.
So if there's a translation error in that context, what should it be? The day of Ghadir explained it very clear. The day of Ghadir showed us that Man kuntu mawla, awliya mawla. It's the same root terminology. Whoever I'm as that's they'll insist that it means friend, right? This is the whole age old. I wanted to announce after the 9-hour-long speech in the heat, calling the tens of thousands to come and wait for those ahead that come back, wait for those behind us. Really arduous journey, tiring, painful, tumultuous. He's my friend.
But no, but say they had a fight, no?
No, well, chill. He's my friend. Baba, we know he's your friend. He's your son-in-law. He's your nafs. Friend would be redundant to make. Clearly, the term awliya, wali, that's being used here, alastu awla bikum min anfusikum qalu bala, it has a different meaning. And I think just drawing it back to our old discussion here, that term is utilized to describe, as in 551, do not take guardians.
Yeah.
Because Ali ibn Abi Talib was announced as the guardian, the hujjah, upon all those who are asbahta mawlaya wa mawla kulli mu'minin min ba'di. The guy that comes and says, bakhin, yabna Abi Talib. In that context, don't take them as guardians when Rasulullah is your guardian, when Amir al-Mu'mineen is your guardian, when Allah, إنما وليكم الله then kicks in ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون. Rather, your friend is God, Baba. Once again, shwaya, chill. What do you mean friend is God? Rather, your guardians, as opposed to the Jews and Christians, are God, His Messenger, and Amir al-Mu'minin. This does not have that involvement. The criteria we have is the earlier verse that says, if you find Christians that are genuinely upright, that are not arrogant, وَلَا يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ, as the ayah says, interestingly, if they're monks as well, have you met a friend that's a monk? There's a Christian priest that may have written a book about Sayyidina Zahra alayhi salam, but that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah,
That's a bit eye-opening.
There's one actually quite famous, Father Kolahasi, isn't it? He's written one about Sayyidina Zainab.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Christopher Kolahasi.
In
yeah,
that
yeah.
context, we welcome and befriend such individuals for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, such that hopefully we can show to them the true teachings of Islam, Ahlulbayt, that it's fully encompassing.
So now we've talked about, you know, friends and friends of a non-Muslim background. What about friends of a different gender? Meaning, you know, we grow up in the West, we go to high school,
Allah-
it's very mixed.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of our maraja. They all say it's haram. It's haram for a man to have a friend, a rafiqa, sadiqa, and it's haram for that's a girl, for a girl to have a rafiq, sadiq, that's a man. I think it's beyond it being shar'i, jurisprudentially something that is forbidden. It's just a masculine prerogative to one to reflect and say that, listen, is it in nature for man to just make a friend that's a girl without having alternative interests?
Good point.
I think if you ask most men, either they're trying to compromise for something, that they just don't know how to make friends that are similar in, because what's a friend? It's when you have, you know, that when you observe kids, they have common denominators.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mutual
you
understanding.
like the color blue, I like the color blue. It starts
Yeah.
as easy as that.
Mm.
We have to be friends now. And then it grows. We share the same political views, we share the same outlook on life. When it comes to a different gender, one has to be formal, professional, civil, respectful, decorum has to be observed. But to say friend is more intimate. And I think it goes against a masculine prerogative as a man to say that, look, I'm going to bring a woman into my life as just a friend when you don't have anything in common in that context. From your masculine worldview and her feminine worldview, the only thing drawing you closer, I would say, is desires.
Okay.
And to safeguard one another, it's not something that should be observed. And that's why our ulama say it's not.
I wanted to ask, so say that I really, really like the way you phrased it. I wanted to add one thing. Do you not feel in the modern age especially, there's a lot more harm being done because of this free-flowing understanding that we're just friends. Oh, there's no harm in it. And a lot of the time, even certain guys' behaviors changes to a lot less masculine in terms of the general ideology of masculinity has faded away.
Your friends rub off on you, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And the studies all show that you are the sum of the top 5 people you hang around with.
Mhm.
Like, as a man, you hang around with women. What is that going to
Makes you softer. It doesn't make you...
It's fine to be
bravado.
soft. By the way, you could have feminine qualities. I mean, it's probably feminine to cry, but it's an honor to cry in times of appropriateness.
Yeah.
It's a masculine feature to be someone that is confrontational. It is a masculine feature, but you need that here and there. And I think these things can be split and shared in proportionality, more for men, less for women. But if you're hanging around with people that are feminine in their nature, you're just going to turn into that as well. And that'll overcome the majority of your features and attributes and qualities, which shouldn't be the case. As a man in the world today that's very competitive, that's very driven in career, and just it's a race out there, and it's gonna be not the most optimal to even one day start a family.
I agree.
I think a woman wants to see that she's protected and safe and so on and so forth.
So vice versa, because that's advice for
Men.
yeah. So for the sisters who are watching the podcast,
Inshallah, a sister could answer that question.
yeah, okay, fair enough. If you think it's more,
No, but I think it's still common sense. I think, so
Meaning-
what would have been your point though?
meaning would a sister having a male friend,
I think she
would
should know.
that rub off on her? Would she become more masculine?
No.
She starts going gym and
Once again.
starts
No.
taking pre-workouts. and stuff.
hey, as if all men do that. No, I would say that it's more dangerous that a sister makes friends with men than it is if a man makes friends with a sister.
Okay.
I think the worst thing that can happen to the guy is maybe some of the qualities can rub off, and him entertaining more feminine features, and then even maybe going down the path of being someone that feels the need to make themselves more liberal, and then that can just normalize certain orientations that are counter-Islamic values. You see people that are, for example, they've entered into the world of homosexuality. The interesting thing is all their friends growing up were just women.
Yeah,
And they felt
there.
comfortable, and these are the people I affiliate with. I want to be like them, and I can't biologically, so I can say that I'm a girl trapped in a guy's body. But if you're hanging out with guys growing up, as especially in the impressionable years of like 7-ish, and in between and back and forth, playing with dolls, watching girl content, hanging out with other girls. I mean, parents should not just relinquish that to. I mean, you have to watch out.
I think even this social media era of like people having to take pictures of themselves to post and look a certain way and behave a certain way, I think it's changed a lot the ideology of kids that they have to behave in a certain manner. Rather than, for example, I could go out looking crap to go play football with my boys. I wouldn't care because I know I'm going to link my boys. I could be 10, 12, my parents would drop me off to play football. I'd spend the whole day out with those guys playing sports. And that's one of those things where going outside and actually doing things actively has reduced a lot.
Oh, so that's a solution. That's a very good solution.
Yeah, I think 100%. That's one of the things that needs to be pushed.
But
for young kids,
that's a solution, Ahsant, for this concern. But I'm speaking about the dangers of what can happen with a man if he normalizes making friends that are just from the opposite gender as the standard for him. That's the worst, I think, in my humble opinion. I think on the other side, it's much more dangerous. I think women are more vulnerable than men, just naturally. And if she finds it normal to make friends with men out there, as men ourselves, and we know other men, we've dealt with other guys, and we've one-on-one with them and spoken to them and understand their problems and struggles and urges and tendencies. It's extremely concerning to see that the sister doesn't realize that she's pretty much under the mercy of some man's whims and wills, and feeling protected and safe just because, well, he's my friend. He's your friend, but he's still a man, and he's still raging with men testosterone and hormones.
So you're saying it's going to put her in a compromising situation?
Extremely. And a lot of these things, if they don't develop into a halal relationship, they turn into something very violent, unfortunately.
Oh, damn.
A lot of cases have shown that. It was just a matter of, I was duped. I thought I could trust this guy until he spiked my drink.
Groomed.
Until he spiked my drink. Until it's like, I thought I could be safe with him. Until he trapped me in his house.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people have all. I hate to feed into a feminist narrative here.
Yeah.
A lot of men are nasty.
Yeah.
A lot of men are gross and will go extreme. The term is down bad. They're very down bad. We'll go extreme. I'm on social media too. We'll extreme lengths to get what they want. Like pathetically. Like he will put so much effort that if he just does this in academics, he'll become a doctor, PhD recipient. Like if you channel that energy and trying to get with her, tricking her, duping her. There was a brother. I was called by his mom. It was through his phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, brother, let's call him. I don't even want to throw an example. Let's call him
James.
Bob.
Okay, Bob, yeah.
No, not Jeff.
Robert.
Jeff is a good guy.
Yeah.
No shame to all Bobs out there. Bob, Bob wants to talk to me. Hi, Bob. And it was his mom. I'm like, hi, how are you, Bob?
Yeah.
Is everything okay with Bob? She's like, no, he's not good. And he only likes to hear you and listen to you. I was hoping if you can talk with him. What the heck is going on? She says, I noticed I think he's swung to that corner of the spectrum of identity and gender.
Okay.
I think he's that. Like, so what do you want me to do? I want to just like straighten him out.
Pun intended.
What do I do in that case? She said, come and talk to him. I'm like, okay. How is that going to work though? I went to the house, and imagine that. Like your speaker that you like to listen to, he's locked himself in his room, and knock, knock. Who are you? It's me, man. You, Sayyid? Like, yeah, I'm here, Habibi. I just want to talk to you. Your family let me in. First thing I see was he has printed photos of girls on his wall, on his bedroom wall. Right when he sleeps, he has like, I think like it looked like 30 of them.
Yeah,
bunch of girls. A lot of them muhajjabat.
Oh,
a lot of them.
Wow.
A lot of them muhajjabat.
What?
I think I recognized a few of them too.
That's scary.
Just at the community.
Scary.
I'm like, okay.
Celebs.
So here's something. I'm like, first of all, Bob, who are these?
Yeah.
Like, those are my friends.
No.
I'm like, is that what you do with your friends? Like, you're my friend, but I don't have a photo
That's
of you
weird.
hanging on my ceiling.
I hope not.
The issue was that identity crisis, confusion, teenage as well, hormones going crazy, and not knowing their place in the world, and having a lot of friends that are not ideal for him to have. So they can be in his life to some aspect in a professional manner, but that rubbed off on him so much. He's like, that's it. I think this is how I identify as. Look, I see the problem. Leave these girls alone. Also, do they allow that you can just have their pictures like that? For that's haram. Many cases.
Yeah, they might not even know.
Girls are married here. Yeah, but she's nice to me. She's really sweet to me. She's whatever. I can call her whenever I need. Oh my God, this is I identified the issue. What we did is we sort of forced him to hang out with us. So whenever we have an outing with the guys, we'd make sure to call Bob. Make sure Bob comes.
Can I tell you one thing as well? I know
and we did sports.
I know it sounds very silly to say it. There are certain things, even if we're looking at it in a medical way, that boost testosterone. And one of those things is also the fact that, like, as a guy, you get this, like, from playing sports, you get this, like, virility if you do well in sports. And it's just the thing. And even, for example, chilling with the boys, you know that thing of you can rip your boy and it'll build him up. But sometimes these guys like this, I know it sounds silly to say, because let's say they've been chilling with girls, they're not used to it. Everyone just agrees with them. Girls will just agree with each other for the sake of it sometimes. Whereas a guy, if I think he's being stupid, I'll tell him, yo, bro, this is stupid, this is that. Whatever it is,
I agree.
We're more aggressive slightly, and it builds you up a little bit more, such that you have this sort of masculinity that slowly builds. And if you catch it at a younger age, like for example, me and my brother I'm mid-20s, my brother's slightly younger than me. We will fight physically till today and fight for like half an hour, like a full-on scrap. And then 5 minutes later, we'll be eating food together.
Yeah, but who would win the fights though?
I can't that's a varying contrast. We've got enough scars for both of us. It's one of those things as brothers, and I can do the same with my boys. We'll wrestle it out. We'll have a laugh. We'll play sports. I'll kick the ball in his face, something. And 10 minutes later, we'll have laughed out. Whereas it's more likely, and you see a lot with girls, they'll hold that grudge. Guys are less likely to hold that grudge. And that soften it with the guy, you build a lot more,
everyone's different too. There are exceptions to this. I agree with you. Most people can be seen as being able to tolerate as men, being scruffled and roughed up a bit. Some guys was like, listen, that bothered me. So everyone it's relative and circumstantial.
If you insert certain of these slow attributes,
but I agree with you that there needs to be a bit of that banter and pushing, and that's just the nature of men. Tough love,
bit of tough love,
love, and it needs to be trajected tough love. This is how much you don't give the same amount of dosage of medicine to each person that's sick. Everyone has to have a little bit of here and there. And so with this Bob guy, we by the way, he got married.
Alhamdulillah. Oh, did you see a significant change
to a girl like that?
MashaAllah. Did you see a significant change in Bob?
Of course. Yeah, he got a girl found him responsible enough, masculine enough to I did his aqd, by the way, too.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah. Thank God we called him Bob now, because I don't want.
Good on you, Bob. Well,
he's a gem. He's a gem of a human being. It was just an identity issue. It was a problem. It was a crisis. If you don't mind, I want to add a quick reference to all this. There's a very beautiful verse in the Quran that talks to us about a guy that because of his friend, he was deceived and misguided. And so, like, okay, guys that make the wrong type of friends even include the wrong gender. There's also the wrong same gender friend who makes it appear that he wants your best interest in mind only. And so from the narration, I remember, because the narration tells us the name, not the ayah. His name's Al-A'sha. Al-A'sha, the ayah says, this guy goes and he loves Islam. He hears about it and he's in Yemen. And so he's like, this is a beautiful religion. I want to convert. His friend kicks in. He's like, wait a minute, you want to convert to that religion, that prophet I hear in Medina? He's like, yeah, and I'm in Yemen, and so I have to go to him. He's like, okay, but the thing is, he's made black and white the same in the eyes of his God. He's like, that's why I want, because I think the humans are all the same. Bro, he's made women and men equal in the eyes of God as far as their status. He's like, that's what I like, man. And he's like, bro, he talked about this day called Day of Judgment where we're all going to be held accountable. He's like, man, that's why I want to become Muslim. So he keeps thinking of excuses to prevent his friend. Every excuse he brings is a reason for him wanting to become a Muslim, until he hit him with the one line. He's like, but he's made alcohol haram. He's like, oh no, wait. Al-A'sha was an epic poet.
Okay.
He writes really good poems. Some of his poems, we study them in Arabic grammar classes, because very Jahili poems are pretty cool. Al-A'sha, they strike an example. They say, beware of Al-A'sha when he drinks, because he will drop a fiery poem. So he's like, wow, my poetry's in stake if I can't drink. I guess a person that's drunk, I don't know, it gets them to a place where, yani, without using much of their consciousness, they find an extra gear in them. And so he's like, I'm gonna lose that gear.
Okay, fair enough. You do hear this a lot about musicians and such, that they use the little bits of drugs and alcohol and such to get them to that edge.
That's a lousy way to be.
Of course,
to be negative. And you have to rely on a regimen of drugs to be impressive. Oh, that's loose. That's Al-Asha was like, oh, what do I do then? He's like, the friend is just like a shaitan. Shayateen al-insi wal-jinn. There's the jinn we don't see. The ins is more dangerous because we see him. He's like, no, I become Muslim. Just give it a whole year. Give it a whole year. What do you do in that year? Drink as much as you can. Drink as much as you can. Get drunk. After the year passes, then you become Muslim. Year passed, he wants to now go to Medina and become a Muslim. He gets on his camel. You can imagine what happens then. No one knows. No one knows their future. Right before he enters Medina al-Munawwara, on the outskirts, he gets sick. He camps. He goes to sleep and he dies without ever going. Allah revealed an ayah of the Holy Quran about this guy. وَيَوْمَ يَعَضُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ. The day the one who's oppressed himself will be bite. It's an expression. Have you ever seen parents bite their finger looking at you? They're like, yeah, because they're mad and they're like, listen, I can't yell right now. Yeah. So I'm going to do this. يَوْمَ يَعَضُّ الظَّالِمُ. The one who's oppressed himself will be doing that against their own self. يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي اتَّخَذْتُ مَعَ الرَّسُولِ سَبِيلًا. How I wish I took the Prophet's path sooner. Ya waylata, woe upon me. Laytani lam attakhidh fulanan khalila. How I wish I didn't take that person as my friend. Why? لقد أضلني عن الذكر. They took me away from the remembrance of Allah when it came to me. وكان الشيطان للإنسان خذولا. And shaitan always misguides people. He's like, I woe upon me for taking that guy as a friend. In America, when someone is being investigated, let's say by an investigator for a very serious case, they go to their phone. They're not going to look at mom or dad's messages. They're going to look at who's their friend that they're messaging, because you trust that guy before you want to send private critical information to your own parents. And I think even for healthy reasons too. Like if you get into like a flat tire on the road, calling mom will make her freak out. Yeah. Calling her, bro, I got this. Come help me out really fast. Don't tell my parents. So it's not even for like bad intention. So you're just gonna be closer to them about certain things
as well. It's a different age, different dynamic.
But you trust them that much. Don't trust them with your faith in their hands, especially if they have that mischievousness to them.
Unfortunately, we run out of time, so that we could talk on and on and on. But before we end the podcast, would you like to give a final message to the viewers in regards to friendship? Your camera is that one there with the white wire.
In Nahj al-Balagha, Imam Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam has a beautiful hadith towards the miscellaneous part of the Nahj. As you know, there are sermons, there are letters, and there's a miscellaneous. Hikam and advice. احبب حبيبك هونا ما عسى أن يكون بغيضك يوما ما وابغض بغيضك هونا ما عسى أن يكون حبيبك يوما ما. Love your lover, but to a healthy extent. Don't overdo it. Why? Because maybe one day they turn into your enemy, and you relinquish so much of your critical trust and information to someone, thinking that you can trust them now, even with the most sensitive, delicate things about your existence and your identity, and then they turn on you and become your enemy. And hate your enemy, but to a healthy extent, because maybe one day they turn into your lover. Live a life that's balanced. Live a life where your best friend is you, and ni'ma al-rafiq wa ni'ma al-sadiq, Allah Azza wa Jal. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all, and I'm honored to call Mr. Ali here, and Sayyid Muhsin here, as one of my close friends, because these are lovers of Ahlulbayt.
Ahsantum. Thank you very much, Sayyid. Ali Jigani, you want to say anything to the viewers?
No, how can I follow that up? That was beautiful, man. I was lost in thought.
What, you're right there. That was very difficult to top, but
hey, if I do say so myself.
Thank you very much, Sayyid Muhammad Hassan, and also Ali Jigani for this episode of the Shia Vibes. Big shout out to the people behind the cameras, Muhammad Fahad, the director, Muhammad Al Ma'ash, Salman Bai, Amir Raza, the whole team here at Imam Hussein TV 3. And inshallah, join us on another episode of the Shia Vibes podcast. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.